My name is Mac Rapapali.
And I'm Dewald Olivier.
Joining us today, we are pleased to have with us one of South Africa's top 10 artists. Please welcome the incredible Ross Hardy.
How's it, guys?
Welcome, Ross.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
I believe you've experienced local and international, obviously, experience with the band called Black Harbour. Where was the best, or what is your fondest memories of playing live?
When I speak about Black Harbour, I often refer to it as kind of like my musical university, in the sense that that was a band that I learned a lot with, and I was able to tour throughout the country, and as you mentioned, I was able to tour abroad as well. So we played some shows in Italy, and we've had some exposure in places like France and Hungary and that kind of thing. I haven't played there as yet, but you know, that was a sort of time where I realized like there is expansion, you know, and this musical thing can
grow,
can get out there, yeah, you know.
So you know what? Let's congratulate this man. You know why?
Why?
Because the first album just dropped.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah.
Rest
Thank
and
you.
Resurrection.
Yeah,
am I right?
that's
So
it.
tell us more about the process behind the recording and who did you work with?
There was there's sort of two or three elements. I know people are sick and tired of hearing about COVID, but the hard lockdown happened, and I thought, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to really tuck into music that I had, in my mind I thought was going to be solo music, you know. And so I really got stuck into that. Recorded 3 tracks with a friend of mine, Nick Rush. He did the production on 3 tracks, and then another mate, Byron Miller, who's got a studio out in Springs, a very, very cool studio called Audio Nebula. He did the other 3 tracks. We put everything together, and I just went through the process of releasing something that I thought had good dynamic for new audiences, but also sort of encapsulated where I've been as an artist, and where I am now as an artist.
I mean, you've just, through your process, broke through and broke into the music industry. Finally, you just said after 10 years. What advice can you give young musicians that wants to get into the music industry and be part of it?
You need a really thick skin for starters. It's really rewarding, and it's, first of all, it's got to be driven by passion. I've never heard a musician say like, I want to get in this because I'm going to be a millionaire. You know? That hopefully, you know, and those kind of dreams and goals are definitely achievable. We've seen some phenomenal success with South African artists, Ross and Prime Circle and the guys like that, but bands that have even left like Seether, and Black Coffee is one of the artists that I'm watching a lot, and I'm just like, this guy's just way out there, you know. So it's definitely possible, but it takes absolute tenacity. It takes a lot of guts, and it's something that you're just going to have to persevere at all the time. You know, you're going to have some super challenges, but the rewards are definitely worth it, I think.
I have to ask. I want to ask this first. I mean, you mentioned your namesake Ross Leemeth now from Prime Circle.
Yeah.
We've had him a few weeks ago on one of the other episodes, and you come highly recommended by Ross. Your mates as well. I mean, I assume that you do a braai together. What would you braai if you do braai with him?
I'm a simple braai guy.
Yeah.
Like a chop, you know, one vleis and one veg, you know, or like no veg if possible, you know, like brood.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
That's
you
all
know,
I
like
wanna hear.
really simple.
Nothing fancy.
Like a good piece of steak, like a good cut, you know.
Okay. And it can be anything.
Yeah, as long, you know, I think that it's, if like you've got a good cut from like a decent butchery or supermarket or something like that, like simple. I've never really been into, some people like to braai like 20 different things. They got rashes and they got wors and they got, you know, it's like, just do it simple with like a potato bake.
Yeah. Straightforward.
That's that's where I've got these love handles from in December.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear it's from it.
Rooi vlees and aardappels.
And a red wine, maybe.
Yeah, a bit of red wine.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, before we let you go, I'm just quickly going to ask you, you know, just to give us a teaser from the album coming out.
That's it.
Ross, thank you so much, man, for
Thank
making
you
time.
guys
We
for
truly
having me, man. I
appreciate it.
appreciate it so
a lot.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, nice
Thank
having
you guys for having me. Yeah.
And thanks for eating red meat.
Yeah. Let's not even go there.
In the meantime, I'll give you a tissue to cry.
Today we are joined by Philip Westhuizen from the Reitz Landbou Academy and Odette Shepperson from Peritum Agri Institute. Welcome to you both. Philip, let's start with you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and the academy.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege being here. So I'm Philip Westhuizen, part of the Saturn Group, Head of Research and Innovation. And we are part of the Reitz Agricultural Academy, together with the VKB Group, Agri SA, Grain SA, also John Deere and Standard Bank. And we formed part of this group to found this Agricultural Academy to really try and help the students with regards to practicality towards the industry. And the focus of the academy is really with regards to precision agriculture, both in the livestock industry as well as the crop farming industry, and some revival crop farming as well. And we're really trying to identify and to teach the learners what relevant is within the industry, and what they actually need to know when they enter the industry, not only on the theoretical part, but especially on the practical part of it, and really trying to amend their mindsets for modern farming. So I think that's the core idea of the Agricultural Academy, and we're really privileged to be part of it, and it's really optimistic to see what's happening and what's going to happen in the future.
Brilliant. Odette, tell us about yourself and Peritum. What does that do?
Okay, I'm the marketing manager at Peritum Agri Institute. We've been in business this year for 20 years already. So for 2 decades, we've been training people in agriculture. Our private agricultural college is based in Bloemfontein, but we do training nationally as well as all over Africa.
Okay. Well, you guys together recently announced a first of its kind, a gap year in agriculture. Why specifically an agri-gap year, and what's it all about?
Okay, we have a lot of matriculants that visit the Peritum Agri campus that's not sure about their future or their career path after they finish their final exams. So they would like to do something sensible yet fun before diving into tertiary studies or going back to the farm. And the gap year might just be what they need.
Okay. Philip.
So I think from our side, we saw the opportunity. So our core focus was only on school level, grade 10, 11, and 12. And we also saw the opportunity that there's actually guys that wants to take a gap year, let's use that terminology. And we soon realized that we need a partner like Peritum, because we can't do it by ourselves. And then we started collaborating with Peritum to actually compose and to this gap year. And I think from an agricultural point of view, there's a lot of guys on school level that might be interested in agriculture, but there's no real platforms for them just to get a little bit of experience. Not necessarily going into doing a degree at the university, going that far, that level, and paying that sort of monies, but they just want to have a feel of what it is and have some experience of what agriculture might give to them. And I think that's exactly what the gap year is. So it's structured. It's not a fool around here. It is structured. It's not as intensive as a university degree, but it is agri-based, and you will get a broad spectrum of experience when you finish the year. And I think from an agricultural point of view, whether it's livestock or crop farming, you will really have a little bit of everything, and I think that will enhance the decision making for the guys if they want to go to university, what they need to study, or maybe they don't want to be in agriculture. And I think that's going to bridge a gap that was in the industry.
Opening up agriculture to more students, future students. Now, what I've read is, and I believe there are 5 pillars on which the agri-gap year is built, being to build, to develop, to educate, and to make memories, and to uplift. Tell us more about this, Odette.
Okay, I think the one that's most enticing to the learners or to the students is the one making memories, because we usually get a lot of questions. And the first question we usually get is, will there be fun? And yes, of course, there will be a lot of fun. So we have fun and adventure built into every study week. So zip lining, river rafting, hiking in the Drakensberg, many on the menu. And then our other pillars to build and to develop. To develop is about getting to know yourself. There we'll do some personality analysis, talk about your personal branding, and discover the future for the dream for your future. And then to build, on the other hand, is getting the students ready for work life. So they will learn about writing a CV, getting ready for an interview. And they also have some practical sessions, first aid training and weapon handling. And then all of this contribute to the fifth pillar, which is leaving a legacy, sorry.
Okay. One of the major pillars, obviously, is agri-education. Philip, how does that work?
I think the education part there's two parts within the education part. Of course, there's the theory, and you will never leave the theory behind, and that's already included in the Peritum curriculum, which is important. But I think the main thing is, and that's the main reason why it's going to happen in rates, is to actually give them the experience and actually give them the livestock and the crop farming, so they can go out to these divisions within the agricultural industry, and to try to tell them what relevant is within the industry. So at rates, and that's what we've been working really hard to actually get a diversified group of divisions within our farming enterprise. So we've got a Bosmara Stad from Sernik, we've got Consortium Merinos covering the sheep part, we've got Danbred sponsored pig farming. So we've got a pig farming enterprise is doing really well, which is quite interesting, seeing all the learners trying to catch a pig with regards to that. So that's quite good. There's chickens, broilers. We've got a rabbit farming enterprise. On the crop farming, we've got revival crop farming. We also got normal conventional crop farming, that the learners actually go out to the farmers within the industry, and then a lot of horticultural as well, within tunnels and planting all sorts of carrots and vegetables and stuff like that. So I think it's a really broad spectrum with regards to it, and we're trying to incorporate a little bit of everything. Whether it's profitable or not is the other question, but we're trying to supply them with as many aspects as agriculture can provide.
Yeah, I think it's good because it seems like where we were, and somebody made the comment to make agriculture sexy again. And I think that's where this is going, to say that there's more to agriculture than what you just see, the two-tone khaki. There's behind this. Behind the method, there's a lot of structure with regards to agriculture. Now, Odette, I know you guys have gone through some serious planning. Please let us know how the program is structured, and also how prospective gap year students can apply to be part of this.
All right. The program is over 4 block sessions of 8 weeks each, with a vacation break in between. The gap year kicks off on the 28th of February 2022, and the certification is on 3 December. So anyone interested that would like to do the gap year can contact us on 051 451120, or visit our website at www.peritumagri.com.
So, Philip and Odette, what I normally think of if I think of a gap year is me leaving everything behind, going across the border in some European country and spend my father's money. So what is this gap year all about? I mean, why do we call it a gap year?
I think a gap year is exactly what the term says. It's a gap between one phase in your life and another phase in your life, which is between school and between whether you go to university or the workplace. And I think that's the gap. And I think there's some sort of breaches the gap, because there's quite a major gap, if you can use that term, with regards to, there's a lot of excitement on school with regards to matric exams and sport and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, within a month, you have to enroll in a university or apply to a job, which is going to affect your entire future. And maybe that you didn't have enough time to think about it, or your mentality wasn't up to scratch with regards to making that sort of important life decisions. So I think with regards to the gap year is, yes, take a gap, but don't go overseas, or don't just go and spend money or sit at home. Rather take a gap, and that's why one of the 4 pillars is also enjoyment and really learning about yourself and things like that, and writing a CV and stuff like that. It's not only theoretical and practical training with regards to that. So it's still a structured way of taking a gap, taking a pause, and really think about what you're going to do next. And why not learn a little bit about agri as well and get that exposure as well?
Yes.
So, Odette, what we've seen is that currently women in agriculture is very topical. What is your experience, and is it part of this? Or is this only for young men, or can young ladies also enroll?
No, it's definitely for young ladies as well. What I've experienced in the past is we've also got national diplomas that we also offer, and we do have a lot of ladies that's enrolled on the national diplomas.
So we're glad to have ladies coming into the agricultural industry as well. Right, now my last question is, I think this gap year at the end of the day should be full already. Do you still have space for students?
Yes, we do. We can accommodate 60 students, so, but we still have space available.
60 students.
Yes.
Now, is there cost involved to this?
Yes, there is a cost involved. Anyone that's interested in the cost or further information can just contact us.
You.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Dit. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining me. Thank you for joining Meat Matters. We appreciate what's been done for agriculture as a whole, and we look forward to see these students get into the agricultural industry in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Oswald, and thank you for joining us on Meat Matters. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where do you come from?
Thank you. I'm based in Polokwane. I'm a part-time farmer. And as you know, there are only two types of people in South Africa. Those who want to farm and those who farm. So I'm privileged to be one of those who can farm. In 1993, I bought my first Ngunis after quite a lot of research. I found that with my type of work, that was the only breed that I can do without any problems.
Oswald, please tell us a little bit more about the Nguni breed and where does it come from?
The people that established this breed in Africa, as well as its animals, had to endure hardships, and survival of the fittest was the name of the game. This was the basis for selection of these animals. And over millennia, these animals, as well as their owners, moved from the north of Africa down to the south where they are now. And this type of selection has chosen the animals with a lot of traits to survive, and this, among other things, is what we have in the Nguni breed. There's quite a number of characteristics that they have. These animals has an excellent disease resistance. They have a functional phenotypic build. They have a high fertility rate. To be able to survive as a breed, they also have to procreate effectively in spite of the harsh conditions. They also had to be able to feed under all types of grazing environments. And as these animals had a symbiotic existence, coexistence with these owners, these animals were also selected according to their inherent docility. And as they were moving down in Africa, only those who adapted well to the different climates and to all the harsh conditions survived.
That's actually a brilliant story, and I mean, it could be a beautiful story about where does the Nguni come from and how it ended up down here where we farm with him on a regular basis. But Oswald, we know that different breeds are best suited to different areas in our country because they have different characteristics. Can you tell us more about the Nguni cattle and what differentiates them from other cattle breeds?
Just to name a few of these, if we talk about disease resistance, the Nguni is unique. Tick-borne diseases is a great killer amongst cattle. And the Nguni has a number of defenses against these diseases. For instance, they are able to develop high efficient antibodies against the tick-borne diseases. You must know that we have two problems. You have the ticks and the tick-borne diseases. So it can develop some antibodies against the tick-borne diseases, probably the most effective of all the cattle that we have in South Africa. Then also it has the ability to immunologically interfere with the feeding of the ticks themselves via reduction of their fertility and increased mortality of the ticks, not the cattle.
I see. So what the Nguni breed actually did is to immunize or strengthen itself through being in harsh environment.
That is correct.
But you've got a society. I mean, you've got the Nguni Breeder Society, which you formed. to look after the Nguni as a breed. Tell us more about that. What do they do?
Right. The Nguni Society consists of more than 100 stud breeders, but there are also a number of other people that is part of it. In our society, we have kings, we have presidents, we have just people who love Ngunis. So, and we have the farmers, commercial as well as stud breeders. What we need to do is to keep all the ties together and to market the Nguni as a beef breed, and also to help emerging farmers to be able to utilize this beautiful breed.
Lastly, Oswald, the breed surely is not without challenges. What challenges does the breed face?
If we look at the breeder society first, then the challenges that we have is to get all the Nguni farmers under one umbrella. Initially, there was quite a lot of stud breeders with fewer animals. And in the last few years, the picture has turned a little bit, that we have less stud breeders, but a lot of commercial farmers with Nguni, probably by a factor of 5 to 10, where the commercial animals are much more than the stud animals. And we need to get them for marketing purposes under one umbrella. And that then we can market them properly, and we can market this excellent meat in a different way than most other breeds.
That's the society.
That is the society.
So what challenges do the breed itself face?
I think one of the most prominent challenges which farmers talk about is the discrimination against bull calves specifically at auctions. We have our ideas of why that is, but we also did scientific studies, and it is a completely irrational discrimination of the Nguni breed as such and the Nguni cattle. So in our plans, we are going to address that also specifically. Having said that, the prices that they get for the female animals are still very good, because the Nguni female animals are also probably the best breeding ground for cattle.
Okay. If anybody wants to find out more about the studies that you did, the scientific studies, where can they contact you?
We have a website, www.nguni.co.za, and there is an absolute wealth of information on that website. There are 15 journals which you can read, and in all those journals there are articles which is relevant for any type of cattle farmer as well as the Nguni farmer specifically. And all these are written by people knowledgeable in their field of expertise.
Thank you very much, Oswald. Enjoyed speaking to you. We look forward to see what the Ngunis do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are very pleased to have joining us today Dr. Florence Nyerere Chukuda, who is the acting CEO of NARPO, and Congress Mahlangu, who is head of communications. The National Emerging Red Meat Producers Organization is a very important role player in the red meat value chain of South Africa. Welcome, firstly, Dr. Florence. That's how we know you in the industry.
That's correct.
Not necessarily with your surname, but only Dr. Florence. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and what role does NARPO play in our industry?
Thank you very much, Devald. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. It is indeed a pleasure to be the acting CEO of NEPO, which is an organization that has stood the test of time, established in 1997, and it has played the role of developing the communal and emerging red meat sector, which plays a critical role in the red meat industry.
Congress, yes, welcome to you as well. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role currently at NERPO.
Thank you very much. I'm currently in charge of the communication at NERPO. And our main objective is to ensure that we stretch the organization through all the nook and cranny of this country to ensure that the emerging livestock farmers are able to receive the message adequately and very accurately in a manner that satisfied their level of communication level. So we are sitting here from NERPO point of view to ensure that we create a solid base communication collaterals for our organization. Okay. And that is done to ensure that our farmers receive the information on a daily basis.
Oh, brilliant. Now, Dr. Florence, I'm aware that advocacy on behalf of our emerging farmers is only one of the primary objectives of NERPO. Now, please tell us what entails this, and what does this entail, and how do you achieve it?
Thank you very much again, Devald. Beyond advocacy is the actual development component. So NEPO is actually involved in the implementation to see this transformation happening. Mm-hmm. Transformation is a 1% change that happens in every farmer's life. So it comes from skills development, knowledge development, and actually looking at infrastructure development when we look at the larger players like the emerging farmers that are leasing land from government and also those that are on private entities. So there are three components to it. We look at the knowledge, the skills, and the actual developmental components, yes.
Thanks.
So you're probably asking yourself, where did this all start? NERPO, how is it possible? Well, where were you back in 1997? This means that this year, they are celebrating an incredible milestone. It's NEPO's 25th anniversary. Congratulations, guys.
Yes.
Now, Congress, I believe that you have some exciting news about NERPO.
I think that's a very important question. Our main objective is to ensure that we create a one-stop shop for our farmers. Our farmers must be able to reach each other as and when they want to get every information. We are living in the global village, and our farmers are stretched throughout the whole country. And the most critical and important thing is to create a communication hub, wherein we have to ensure that there's a clear social media. And I'm sure that we understand, all of us, that we are living in the industrial revolution. And we need to ensure that our farmers are able to receive the information through their own gadget, wherever they are. But we also have to ensure that we have to make sure that the information received in the language that they are able to understand. So one of the key components is language use through our own systems. And also we have to ensure that we recalibrate our social media in such a way that it becomes user-friendly for them. You'll remember that as we have gone through the level of COVID-19, our farmers, it has been very difficult for us to communicate. It has closed our traditional way of communication. We need to readjust and readapt. And the best way to adapt is to ensure that we embrace the new technology. And we are very excited that we have set up new plans to ensure that social media is up in action. But we also have to recalibrate our website. Our website should be up and running to ensure that our farmers are able to get information as and when they want. We are engaging our social media strength, and I think from now we are very clear that the 25 years of NERPO will be one of the most greatest year ever, because we are celebrating this particular milestone.
I agree with you, Congress. I think 2022, and within your 25th year celebrations, 2022 is going to be an immaculate year. I've got high hopes for this year. But through all of that, I mean, Dr. Florence, what do you want to say? What's the message you want to carry out in this special year for NERPO to your members and to the industry as a whole? Is there something you would like to tell us?
The main message to our farmers is that do not look backwards, because there's a lot of noise. Even in the future, there's a lot of noise. The global politics, economics, whatever. Look and consider the love of the work that you do as farmers. This is what will bring change. So we need those small changes that will contribute to the growth of your industry. So they must not be drowned by the too heavy rains, the drought. They will all come and go, but development and growth must still occur. That's our message to the farmers in the 25th anniversary of this organization.
Brilliant.
Yes,
Thank you, Florence.
Thank you so much, Dr. Florence and Congress, for joining us today. So here is to the next 3 more 25 years,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which will make it 100th
100 years.
anniversary. Happy
Yes,
for
thank
that.
you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you,
anniversary.
sir.
I'd like to thank all the guests that joined us on this episode of Meat Matters. My name is Makar Papali. And on behalf of the guy that has his feet on the table and the South African Feedlot Association, thank you for joining us on Meat Matters. See you on the next episode for more on the best of beef. Be healthy, be safe, and keep enjoying South African beef.